Hey everybody, AJ here. Just wanted to let you know before the show starts that due to unforeseen circumstances, India's entire portion of the show was lost to the aether. We're very bummed about it, but fear not. I have done my level best as an audio and podcast professional to make do with what we have. So while we may not have India's voice, we will certainly have India's takes in the episode. Thank you for listening and enjoy the first episode of Season 8.
Hello, and welcome to 10 Very Big Books, Woof Woof Bark Bark. We're a Malazan Readthrough podcast. My name's Peter Bond. I've read every book in the main series, however, my friends are reading the series for the first time, and with me today is my friend and closest confidant, India Jones. How are you doing this morning, my love, my dear?
Hello Peter, my friend. I am feeling very good and extremely normal today. Nothing weird going on at all.
Our producer, the boat that carries this to your ears, Anthony James Titanus Flary.
Titanus?
What's going on over there, buddy?
Titanus is on my birth certificate. I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
And the biggest dog on the show.
Woof woof.
Woof woof bark bark. It's Joshua Baker.
I don't know. Now, question:
Jesus.
if you were a dog, everybody, what kind of dog would you be?
Ooh, God.
Well, that's easy. I just watched this movie, so I would turn into a big red dog, and that would be mine.
Yeah, we all three of us just watched Turning Red, so that's on the
But
mind.
to be clear, not Clifford. I would be a different big red dog.
I think
and that's
Pete
my
would,
answer.
I think Pete would be a Pomeranian.
Really?
I don't know what type of that dog that
Savage,
is. I'm
dude.
out of it.
It just feels right.
I don't know enough about dogs to have an opinion.
Wow, really? This bit really took off. I think
Sure.
I'd be an English bulldog. You know, just kind of chilling
AJ,
all
you'd
day.
be a Great Dane. You should I know.
You know what? If there's one thing I know
I
about
think you'd
me,
be a great dame too if you went for that in your life.
wow. Thank you.
I want to be clear. We always have a standing call to our listeners, but especially this season, we're looking for the dog picks. Cat picks also acceptable. We usually get a lot of cat picks. Any dog picks, warm welcomes, you know? So that's right. We're talking so much dog talk because we're tolling the hounds, baby.
Bark bark.
Oh!
It's book 8, and here we are. I know what you guys were thinking. Well, I'm really excited to see where this crippled god stuff, this empire stuff goes. What's Tavor up to? Well, there's no way we were going to finish this series without checking in on our few of our favorite characters. So we
And a few new ones.
we've come across the world, and we're seeing some familiar faces. I'm excited to talk about it. But first, let's go to the prologue as we trudge through. Here we are, baby. Book 8.
We're pulling the cart.
Yeah. I gotta say, I really remember how demoralizing book 4 was for some reason. I think that book felt really long to me. Book 7 went by pretty quick, I feel, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
I hope I didn't jinx us.
I don't know how you could think that book went by quick.
Some books go quicker than others. Listen, we got to start the show. All right, let's.
I mean, we could not.
Here we are, a new season and a new dog. Woof woof. Let's go.
Woof woof.
Prologue. A man and a woman speak in a gray town. They both are dead. Both hold leashes. They watch as the woman's dog kills the man's. A storm is approaching them. Edgewalker approaches them then. Soon, Shadowthrone and his hounds join. Someone appears to speak to them. Within Dragnapur, Ditch suffers. He is a wizard of Pale, killed after betraying Andamanda Rake. The wagon inside the sword is being pulled forward, away from chaotic magic. But they are failing. The dead are not enough to pull it. Ditch wants to know what had happened if the storm around the wagon catches them. Ditch wonders who would know and thinks of Draconis. Apsalara, the Lady of Thieves, rests under the wagon. Clinging to it, still trying to think of a way to escape. In the mountains, two almost identical girls set off south. Kruppa rests by a fire and speaks with Krull. Krupp asks Krull about this war. Krupp says Krull is the prize of the war. Finally, a third person joins them. And Krupp starts telling a story. All right, AJ, this book starts in a very, I would dare say, Samuel Beckett-esque sense. Here we are in a weird town.
I totally
people
agree.
Speaking.
I definitely get that. I for sure agree.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know who Samuel Beckett is.
I know Samuel Beckett.
Okay, guys. Just
Sammy B?
Okay.
Sammy B, we go way back.
The Becks.
Just here we
of
are
course.
in. They're holding these leashes. Okay, guys.
Oh, the
fuck
Waiting
you.
for Godot guy.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. It's very waiting. I know Waiting for
I've
Godot.
never read Waiting for Godot, so
I have not either, but I know.
Peter's the person
okay.
who told me about this play. So this
I
tracks.
should. Whatever.
Keep
guys.
your highbrow analysis away from this podcast.
Yeah.
Woof, woof, bark, bark. Is that what you want out of me?
The
Yes.
dog is
AJ?
out,
Yeah,
baby.
dog boy. Wolf it up.
Woof, woof. All right, AJ, what's going on
Yeah.
with this opening?
It is extremely Godot-esque. I will give you that. In that it's just two people talking about waiting. And from what I know,
This makes more sense now.
about Godot, that's the whole show.
Well, I more mean it's just like kind of a dreamy, almost death-like thing and kind of contextless, but that's kind of the
Look,
point.
I'm trying to, Pete. I am trying to give you something.
Yeah.
You're just not accepting.
If you don't
it.
want it, tell us.
No, it's extremely, like dreamy.
Samuel Beckett.
It's very dreamy and kind of trippy and just like feels kind of like, I don't know. I mean, they talk about this kind of cycle of like, oh, this just, time works different and we've been doing this forever or something. But like the way that it's happening, even though like this seems like it's kind of like a different, like something different is happening, it seems like it reads as if it is like about to repeat itself, which I thought was pretty interesting. Reading it, I was like, oh, wow. But I got no fucking clue what's going on though. Edgewalker shows up. Our guy is here. I don't know, man.
I just think it's an interesting way to start. I mean, obviously
it
it's
is, yeah.
very dreamy and disconnected, but I mean, it's such a contrast to, I would say, the much more grounded sections that happen later on. Do you know what I mean? This is not the tone of the rest of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. I think this is as close. This is as close as we can get to like reading the Gardens of the Moon prologue for the first time again.
Yeah.
Where it's like, I don't know what's going on. There's some people. Sure, here we go. Like, because now we have this entire, glossary of people that we know. So like, no matter what, like the rest of this prologue, we're like, yeah, we can kind of rock with this. Like, I know what happened here. I know what's happening inside this sword, which is a wild thing.
Yeah, so Inge, we catch up with this mage Ditch who betrayed Andromeda Rake and is now living rather unhappily in the sword. And we kind of get an image of what life is like for the sword livers.
I don't like the word sword livers.
It wasn't. It's not a good turn of phrase.
The people of the sword. I like sword livers. I think that's good.
And so, what do you think? What do you think life's like inside the cart? And what do you think? What do you think about this Ditch? And then what's going to happen if this chaos thing is going to meet up with them?
Here is where India give a perfect recap of the stuff going on in the sword.
I think India just nailed it, but I want to triple check that we've got it all. So like,
yeah, I do think India downtown Charlie Brown nailed it, baby.
So just to recap. So Dragnipur was Draconis' sword, and Amanda, you took it, killed Draconis with it.
Yes.
They have to pull this wagon. Within the wagon is something that I forget. They have to pull it because there's a storm of chaos coming. And I think Draconis was kind of like, yeah, if the chaos storm reaches the wagon, the world ends, or some bullshit.
Right.
And so he has to always be killing people to pull the wagon, but he's kind of tired of killing people to pull the wagon, and so it's getting harder to pull the wagon. Is that right?
Yeah, that's generally right. Yeah, and
And did we get told what's in the wagon yet?
Yeah, well, it's a wagon, and there's nothing. It's not like there's a treasure chest in it.
So then why did because I remember Draconis also saying like if the chaos hits the wagon, then we're through.
Yeah.
Like,
why is the wagon so important?
Well, we'll talk about it. This is just the prologue. So
yeah, fair enough. Josh, if I had to guess, and I don't have to, but I will. The wagon, the gun to my head. The wagon is like the way, like is the pathway between the world of the sword and the outside world. So I guess if chaos hits the wagon, then it then comes out of the sword. I
like
know.
that. I like that.
That's what I'm working with.
Do you think the wagon's
a metaphor? Oh my god!
Whoa.
The wagon is puberty.
I'm leaving the call.
When
Goodbye.
All right. We also get to see Apsalara. She's in here, the Lady of Thieves.
Yeah, which was crazy.
As I like to call her, not Apsalar.
Not Absalom. Right.
Yeah. So just Apsalar.
Josh, we see a brief cut into the mountains. Two young girls, adventurous spirit headed south.
Oh, dude, I already forgot that part. Read that prologue this week, forgot that part. Probably not important yet.
Probably not important yet. It won't be important until it is important.
Do either of you remember this? I don't remember anything about these two girls. Oh, yeah, it's definitely Karsa's kids. Duh, thank you. They are Karsa's daughters. Yeah, these are the daughters from the village that Karsa raped in the very beginning of his story when he went to the neighboring village and slaughtered a bunch of people and then raped all the women. And these are his two daughters.
Jesus.
That's right. I did catch that.
Okay.
I don't know if I loved that the mom, like the grandmother, I don't even know. Because there was a mom and a daughter who had these two daughters, which was like kind of wild. So I don't know. But the mom of the two was definitely like, when the daughters left, Steve wrote, and that mom was horny for Karsa again. And I was like, that's weird. Don't know if I loved that.
I have to tell you, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, I got you right here because it was a weird line and I read it 3 times. Their departure was noted, blah, 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 blah. Back in the village, a mother and daughter were told of the flight of their children. The daughter wept, the mother did not. Instead, there was heat in the low place of her body, and for a time, she was lost in remembrances.
Yeah, I don't read that as her being horny, Josh.
Yeah, it's 100%. The heat in the low places of her body, and she was remembering.
Yeah, Josh, that's not how I read that scene. I don't view it as arousal, so.
I definitely do.
I don't know. When you talk about like, I hate this comparison, but when you talk about animals getting ready to mate, they're in heat. That's all I got.
All of this is true. I guess I thought it was more getting at some sort of remembering trauma, but I just think it was being poetic.
I don't think it's poetic.
Anyway.
Listen, everyone can have different opinions. It's fine.
Yeah. And then we're finally reunited with everybody's favorite character.
With good old Krupp. And he's speaking to Krull, and then someone else shows up. And then Krupp starts telling a little story.
This is why I messaged the group. I messaged our group about this. I screamed, Peter, he's here. Because the person who joined is none other than the bard Fisher Keltath.
You think?
Is 100% him. It's already been confirmed. Pretty hyped, though, because India, have you noticed Fisher Keltath throughout the series?
I think we've talked about it before.
Peter and I had a conversation in the last Epigraph F wondering if you guys have forgotten about him existing.
Yeah, he writes every third epigraph.
Yeah, he does. I asked Peter the last ep. I was like, we've got to see him soon, right? Is he going to be in the series? And Peter refused to answer. And then, of course, in the prologue, we meet him.
That's fair.
Yeah, true. That's true.
I'm now just realizing, is this whole book like supposedly being narrated by Krupp?
Is it?
I don't know. I mean, I want to say the very first book starts off with like, and here are the histories of the Malazan Empire.
Well, yeah. That's fair. But
so who knows? I like to think it's all being written by Duiker.
It's an interesting question, AJ.
I know. I guess I have to read this section again to see like. Well, no, he's just talking about people arrive at Darujistan. Let me tell you a story.
With that frame, let's move forward into chapter 1 and get into the city walls, baby.
Bark, bark. Chapter 1. Standing on a balcony, Chalice de Arl looks out across Gedron's fete. The streets of Darujistan are lit with revelry. She is now the Lady Vidicus, having married now Counselor Gorlas Vidicus. She mourns her past and thinks about her marriage and life. Picker is coming from the market back to Carol's bar. The streets are alive. Nearby, a member of the Assassin's Guild is following her. He thinks about the state of the Assassin's Guild and Rallic Nam. Baruch's demon servant Chilbaze watches the Azath house. When something leaves, he goes off to tell his master. Two assassins close in on Ansi and Blue Pearl. The assassin moves in on Picker, but she makes quick work of him. She knew she was being followed. Blue Pearl and Ansi have tricked the assassins. They kill them and identify them not as thieves, but as assassins. Picker kills another assassin and the three meet up, entering Krul's. They call a meeting, a bard sings, and is ignored. Chalice is leered at by her husband's guests, Sheridan Lim and Hannett Orr. She returns to her bedroom and tells her maid to get out her old jewelry. She looks at it and decides to sell them. Murillo has his eyes on the widow Sepharia. However, she is passed out on a bench. Her daughter propositions Murillo. They go to her bedroom, and surprisingly, the girl's suitor stabs Murillo through the chest. He flees the house, blood streaming from him. At the Phoenix Inn, Krupp wins a game and cuts a deal. Scorch and Leff have been hired to be debt collectors, and Krupp wants a piece of the pie. A badly bleeding Murillo arrives at the bar. At Carell's, the Malazans discuss who put out the contract on them and what it means. But then Cole arrives and demands their help. Mallet and Blue Pearl go with him. Baruch is reading an account of Animander Rake's battle against Draconis and wonders how much is true. Crone arrives and they speak of the Barghast and the Grey Swords. Suddenly, his demon Chilbaze arrives, and Baruch says it has begun.
I think we should give a recap of the characters we are coming back to in Darujistan.
Okay.
That's a great idea, India.
This is a great idea, yeah.
All right.
Do you have a list?
I would like it to be in the form of the Poke Rap from season 1 of Pokemon.
Do you mean every character
Murillo
won't be here all day?
I believe she means like Cole, Murillo, Kruppa, Chalice.
You know, Pete, we
Malik.
haven't seen these characters for several books.
Well, that's right. You're touching on a pretty crazy thing, because even though Memories of Ice follows up on a lot of Genabaka storylines, you know, really it's not following up on the Darujistan part of it, you know? So here we are coming back to Darujistan 7 books later. So India, did you think we were going to be looping back to Chalice de Arl and what she was up to? And was that on the radar?
I can't believe we are coming back to such a useless character named after a cup. What even is her point? Crocus hung out with her for a little bit and I'm supposed to give a shit?
She was Crocus's whole world, India.
Yeah, but she was like in one scene where she goes, fuck off.
I know.
I mean, other than the scene where he breaks into her house and she's like kinky.
There's that great scene where Crocus panics and it's like, I'm just going to kidnap you.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems so weird because she's like, she ends that first section with like, the past is a better place to be. And then she sees her old jewelry and is like, get rid of that. And I guess maybe it's just she doesn't want to think about it because it is the better place to be, but
she doesn't want to be reminded of it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah. I do really, really love, we just said we were going to go and talk about the characters.
I just think, why don't we go incrementally through all the characters? Doesn't that just make sense, you know?
Like as we hit them in the chapter, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
All right, sure.
I do really, really love the descriptions of like the people in Darujistan and how they're all wearing like decorative swords and torques and stuff.
Oh, I loved that bit.
It's just like so good. She's like, these people that are dressed like soldiers, but like no real soldier would like wear or use any of this stuff. I just thought was really neat.
her husband's like a duelist, and like they got duelists on the council, and I was like, is this gonna be important? Is there gonna be a duel later? Her husband's also a fuckhead, so didn't love that. They like really built these 3 duelists up as if they were going to be essential characters, but I'm like, I don't need any more. I actually would like them to not be essential characters.
Josh, I have a feeling you're going to be saying that a lot through the next several books.
Yeah,
I don't need any more. Thank you.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm fine. I'm full.
But I do think that's a change. I mean, obviously we meet mostly new characters in Coral, but here we are in these chapters really just catching up with a bunch of old friends.
I already forgot the entire Coral chapter.
I only remember because I read it this morning.
I guess we'll talk about that in a sec, but the next people we're catching up with, that's right, Josh, the Malazans have taken to Kroll's Belfry and opened up a little bar.
Yep.
That's right, the Kroll's bar is going alive and well. However, they do have to fight. They fight a few little assassins.
Yep.
What'd you think about this intro back to the soldiers and this kind of little action scene we get here?
I still really have very little feelings for the problem is that book 3 was so fucking long ago. And I'm sure I gave a shit about these Malazans then, but like they are no longer the bridge burners I care about. I've got Fiddler, I've got Hedge, and then I've got all the fucking bone hunters, and I really don't have any more room in my brain or heart for more soldiers, even if they already used to exist there. I don't know shit about Picker or Blue or the other one, and I know Mallet can heal, but is a sad boy, and that's about it.
Picker and Blend. You don't remember our good friends Picker and Blend, best friends?
I do. Like, that's the thing. Like, I remember having strong attachments to them, but I have no memory of why, you know? I know Blend is a good magic user, I think, but that's it. And they've been overshadowed now by people like fucking Beak, you know? Beak and, the other one? From the Bottle, yeah. Yeah, Beak and Bottle.
Were Picker and Blend, or was one of them the one that's like really good at the sneaky magic and they just don't know it?
I think it's Blend. I think that's why his name's Blend.
Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah, of course.
Keeping it easy for the readers.
AJ, how'd you feel about this little check-in with them? And they're running a bar.
You know? I mean, they're running a bar. I was less tuned into that.
They kill some assassins.
Yeah, the assassin stuff was neat. I really love, part of the reason I love Gardens of the Moon so much is the Assassin's Guild plotline. I just think it's so fun and good. So like for there to immediately be assassin action, I was like, yes, I'm in. I'm all the way in. Let's go. And I do feel bad for the one that was following Picker, because as soon as we got this dude's POV, I was like, rest in peace, buddy. I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have them back. I share a lot of the same thoughts as Josh, where it's like, I remember really enjoying these people and liking them and caring about them, but right now I am having a hard time remembering who is who.
Yep.
Sure.
So I'm sure later in the book I'll be like, you fucking idiot. These are your favorite people, you know? But right now I'm just like, yes, this one. Right, this is a name I know. But as soon as we heard the name Mallet, I was like, I remember Mallet. I love Mallet.
Yeah, I knew Mallet, but I didn't have much more than that.
Yeah. And the bar seems cool, I guess. I don't know.
Can I read you guys this quote that Murillo says?
Yes.
Murillo's giving advice to the young woman and says, seek out the quiet ones, not the ones who preen or display undue arrogance. The quiet ones, prone to watchfulness.
Yeah, I'm what you might call a nice guy. You should look for us.
I'm not trying to put the book too on blast. Is the book somewhat being like, you should check out quiet bookish types?
Yeah,
that's they're actually the hottest guys.
They've all got pretty rad peens if they read books.
This is actually a little known fact. Steve took this section from one of his first books he wrote in high school, where the main character was Bevan Barrickson. And he was just like really hot and cool, but nobody knew because they wouldn't pay attention to him.
So good.
India, what'd you make of this whole Chalice, not the Murillo scene? He gets stabbed. It's a whole kind of, I don't know, sex comedy-esque scene. It's a bit of a sex comedy, right?
I thought it was kind of funny.
Well, first I was like, who is this guy? Then he was trying to fuck.
I mean,
You were like, Murillo!
The book one plot that they have with this gang, like part of their plan involves him fucking someone then too. So it is kind of his whole shtick.
It is his whole shtick, which is that's his whole thing.
His guy, Aurelio, he fucks.
Doesn't seem that interested in that though, you know. Anyway,
he's getting older. He's looking for something real.
Yeah,
he is. He's looking for something real, which is something we'll talk about. He gets stabbed though.
He does get stabbed. Pretty bad.
Does get stabbed. I do. It's just a funny punchline to that scene.
Now you wrote that they had sex in her bedroom, and I really, when I read it, was really struggling to imagine where this was happening. And in my mind, it happened right where they were standing when they saw each other.
Josh, what it was is I so struggled to summarize that section without have to be like, okay, so he's there, he's trying to be with, and then just like doing a whole thing for ultimately, I hate to spoil it for you, not going to be the most important part of the book.
Yeah, I imagined. All right.
So I tried to communicate as best as I could.
Got it.
So we catch up with Krupp, who we've already seen, but we also AJ meet Scorch and Lef.
Is this the first time we've met them?
It's our first meeting of Scorch and Lef.
Why do their names sound familiar?
Well, because we just played from a place called Lether.
I don't know. Maybe
you've heard people talk about them.
Yeah, I think you may have I've heard you bring them up in passing at some point. I don't know, in one of the many podcasts that I edit. I don't know. I mean, they just seem kind of like bridge burners. They're just a couple more dudes. I did think at first, I was like, oh man, is Krupp the one putting out these hits on the fucking bridge? I was like, that's fucking brutal.
Not on our good friend Torvald.
Yeah. You know, we're back into it's really just like this whole chapter is like, hey, here's kind of a summation of the vibe from Gardens of the Moon. I feel like, because it's like there are people collecting debts, there are assassins doing stuff, there's sex comedy, like that's all just stuff that happens in Gardens of the Moon. There's chalice to Arl.
Yeah.
So nothing really specific stuck out about Scorch and Left to me.
Not worth getting into who put out the contract, because I guess we'll talk about that later. But this whole section ends with the big crow showing up and kind of having a bit of a conversation with Baruch.
I love Crone.
Crone's great.
Andy, what'd you make of this little scene? We hear a little bit of they're just kind of catching up pretty much about where everything is since we left Memories of Ice, you know?
So Crone is just a bird?
Mm-hmm. Yes. That's her thing. She's a bird.
That's her thing.
She's a big bird, too. Josh, what do you think? Do you think this told the true story of Animander Rake?
I mean, is any history true, Peter? When you get down to
Josh.
it, you know?
Wow.
What can you be certain of that you haven't seen with your own eyes?
That's true. That's why I'm not vaccinated, Josh.
Jesus Christ.
You. God damn it.
Oh, my God.
AJ, were you pulling a quote?
No, I just really love that after this whole, like, you know, the battle with Draconis and Animander, it immediately goes to Baruch and he's like, I don't know if this is like, he must have been just fucking, you know, telling tales out of school. Dude's just like making shit up. It's like, there's no way this is what happened. I just thought it was very funny. And then I like how immediately this chapter ends and then we get an epigraph from Fisher Keltath.
Yep.
I think very purposeful.
Oh, for sure, on purpose.
Or do you think that was just a coincidence?
It's just a coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Steve, do things on purpose? No.
Now, I definitely thought when something escaped the Azath house, I definitely thought it was going to be Rallick, who did leave later. I did not expect it to be Vulcan or whatever her fucking Vorkan.
Yeah, of course. We had to check it. I gotta say, this is just one of those things. I'm having a blast. To me, it is one of the most insane things that the follow-up to all of this stuff is book 8.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm truly not over it that he was like, yeah, well, I don't know. We'll leave Rallick there. Do like a billion other plots that are, you know, more the focus of the series in a way. And then it's like, well, let's loop around, you know, let's do a quick, you know, I'm still not over it.
Yeah.
Still not over it.
India, Vorkan was one of the leaders of one of the assassin guilds, right? She
was the leader of the assassin
She
guild.
was the leader of the assassin guild.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Before we move on to chapter 2, we have a few people I want to thank for supporting us on Patreon. We've been having a lot of fun doing that, and I think in April we're having a little Star Trek episode go up.
Yeah, baby.
Josh, do you want to thank our
I got it. What's up? Thank you for your patronage. We couldn't do this without you. Thank you, GJ, Mr. Adul, or Muradul, Dragon Reader, James, Mark, Brett, James, but different James.
Thanks, everyone, so much.
Thank you so much.
And like Pete said, we've got that Star Trek one coming up this month. There's some Reaper's Gale epigraphs up there, along with a commentary on Mummy 2.
And we're gonna get 10 very big books, raw and uncut, up there pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
Yes, we do have a raw and uncut episode that will get up there eventually. So look forward to that. And if you want any of those episodes, all you have to do is become a patron at the $1 tier. You get access to all of those episodes and all of the episodes that we have released in the past.
I liked the way you said in the past just then.
All right, Josh, do you want to take us to chapter Dose?
Hell yeah, here we go. Chapter 2. In Black Coral, Endist Salon walks throughout the city. He thinks on his past with Rake, and his present as Castellan of the Palace. He thinks about Moonspawn's fall and eels. Spinok Durav plays an ancient strategy game called Kef Tanar. His opponent, a former Seardaman of the Panion. They play at a bar. The game resembles ancient Andy history, and they speak. They see Rake every night, standing, looking out to the sea. They speak about the Son of Darkness. Spinok says he doesn't know how he feels. He's just an incompetent soldier. Clip is leading Namander's group through Curled Ghislaine. Namander speaks with his cousin, Skintick, about their travels and whether they can trust Clip. They wonder if they would have a place amongst the other Tistiandi. Arenta joins them, and they travel to the sea and return. Clip looks over his companions. He likes Nananda's anger and has nothing but contempt for Namander. He toys with his change, a refuge of the souls of his people. Spinok travels to the palace, seeing Solana loom over the city. He remembers her being used in Montwood in battle with the Crimson Guard. He thinks on the Andes' relationship with the Elaine. He arrives at the palace and speaks to Anamander Rake about a sail and the madness there. They speak a little about what they are doing, but Spinok leaves and sees Endist approaching. Three humans speak with each other. Having remained in Coral, they speak about the Andy and Rake. They consider rising up against them. They leave, and the nearby Seardaman follows. High above the city, Solana watches pilgrims make their way towards a barrow outside the city.
India, so this chapter opens with Endist Salon, the Castilian of the palace. He's thinking about his past, thinking about how the Andy have adapted here. What's your first impression of this? One of the first new characters we meet in the book. I guess technically we meet Ditch first, but here we are, Endist Salon.
I'm calling it now. Endist is going to die.
Okay, you've called the
She
shot.
doesn't want to get too attached, is the thing.
AJ, what was your impression of Endist?
It seems fine. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I guess besides Namander, this is the first Tice-Dan-D POV that we get.
My only thought is I kind of forget Corlat wasn't a POV.
Corlat was not a POV.
Corlat was a POV once or twice in book 3.
That's what I mean. I think there's something around Corlat and Corlat's brother where I think but yeah, AJ, this is I mean, we
don't see a lot of Tice-Dan-D.
You're correct in the spirit of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I mean, it was good. I was like the part where he talks about, he kind of like ruminates on like Moonspawn and stuff.
Sure.
And for some reason, that all kind of went over my head. And then there's a part where he says, like, I feel the pressure of Moonspawn on me or whatever. And then I was like, wait a minute, is he like under the sea? I like fully like got so confused.
Well, he helped keep Moonspawn together magically.
Okay.
So it's like I feel like the pressure is that. It's like, he's feeling.
He cracked, right? That guy?
Yeah. It's like that kind of broke him doing that in a way.
Okay. So I don't know what it was, what I was doing when I was reading this chapter yesterday. I mean, I guess I had a lot going on, but I was just like, wait, I fully missed out on something that was going on. Okay. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, because it was like a monumental effort to get Moonspawn under the sea, then for it to not explode from the pressure of the sea for like weeks on end, and then get it out of there.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. Actually, that's a pretty
yeah.
cool.
Remember, Moonspawn had disappeared for all of book 3, and like it's during the pivotal battle that it like erupts from the sea, and it's like, surprise, motherfuckers, we've been here the whole time. But like, apparently, it took a monumental amount of magical energy to make that happen, which makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that also broke him, like doing all of that to protect it, and then being like, all right, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
So, Josh, you've been getting into Warhammer 40K.
Woo!
Are you going to
I got my models all made. I've primed a few, waiting for some good days to finish the Xanathal priming. Pretty hype.
Wow.
Are you going to become a Keftanar guy? Is that going to be your next thing?
I got so fucking hype reading about this dumb board game that doesn't exist. I would play this in an absolute heartbeat when they're just like, all right, my cavalry sweep. I mean, I played Total War Warhammer 3 like all the time too. Like, this is my shit.
I find it to be just so transparently nerdy. You know, it's just they're actually playing a tabletop strategy game.
I
cannot believe how much time we spend talking about the rules of this game. Like,
you mean not enough? Because I can't play it yet, and I would like to.
When it's like actual war stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, I get this. This has implications. But when it's just this fucking board game, I'm like, what are we doing, Steve? He just wanted to write about one of his hobbies, you know?
Yeah, 100%. It legitimately feels like he's like, well, I'm sure you probably want to know what the strategy game is like. Just what the ground rules, the gist of it is.
And the pieces. Oh my God.
So Josh, what do you make of Spinak Durath and Seer Daman? We're kind of introduced to these two as a pair.
This is my favorite thing I've read. I mean, I feel really bad that I forgot this whole chapter happened, but like I absolutely loved their little relationship, this little bromance they've got going, this camaraderie, and even love it better when we go back and the guy's like, your plan worked, Animander. The strategy you gave me for this board game definitely beat the Seer Daman. I loved that. Because the leader of the city can't go play at a bar, but like he can give strategies for winning.
And it's even funnier that the battle is kind of like the game is based on Andy Ancient stuff. Yeah. So it's like kind of it's just got that layer to it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong. Do they say Spinnock is 20,000 years old?
Yes. They're all so old, dude.
No wonder they're playing strategy games.
Yeah.
Fucking wild, dude.
You can only play Skyrim so many times, but like a good strategy game is different every time you play it, baby.
I gotta get out of here.
I took an arrow to the knee. Is that?
Oh wow, that's
still
really
funny?
good, AJ.
Horse armor. Am I right,
that's
gamers?
Oblivion, you fuckhead.
All right. So
and India has no idea any of the words we've just said the last 5.
and let's talk.
India, gun to your head. If I said horse armor, would you think it was a controversy?
Horse armor? What the fuck are you talking about, guys?
Yeah.
We need to move on. We cannot do this. So India, we catch up with Clip, Namander, the whole crew, Skin Tick, everyone's favorite new cousin. What's your... You know, you're kind of just trying to remember Namander a bit.
Can I 2 seconds?
Sure.
Did you guys realize there was only 8 of them? I thought there was like 30, 40 of these guys. I did not know it was 8 people.
You say only 8. I cannot keep track of these guys, Josh.
Right. There's 8 Tisty Andy. And I thought that like when he was like, I'm going to get all these Tisty Andy, like the way Clip talked about it last book, I thought there was like 30 or 40 of these guys on that island. There's like 8 of them. And they're all like used up and broken humans or, people. I'm sorry. I had to pop that in. I really misjudged them. I thought there were so many more of them until this chapter.
You thought there was more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree.
And what did you make following this kind of motley crew, both of Namander and of Clip?
I don't fucking know, Peter. What's the point? Why are they together again? What are they doing?
Well, and you may recall, Clip at the last book was like, hey, we should go confront Animander Rake. It's time. He's kind of leading them on that quest. And AJ, I find it really cool. Sure. I think there's that scene between Namander and he's talking to Skintick. And he's like, what's Clip even going to get out of this? Is he really going to get what he wants out of this, you know? And it's funny. I find it funny that they're kind of, I think that's like a trope addressing thing in a sense, or like it's talking about, I don't know. What did you make of this kind of group here?
Well, you can't say it's trope addressing and then not tell me the trope that it's addressing.
I think it's addressing the idea of revenge plot lines and kind of trying to disarm them on page 2, you know, like
what's the point of this?
Yeah, but they're still on this quest. So I think it's just an interesting thing to hang out in front of that story.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's pretty interesting. You know,
nothing struck you.
Not really. This whole chapter kind of like, I mean, it was cool to be, you know, to see all this stuff and to actually spend time with the Tistandi and to figure out that there's only 8 siblings or whatever. But like, I don't know. I guess my fault with reading the beginnings of these books is like, yeah, okay, let me just wait to see until stuff actually starts happening. Like my Malazan brain doesn't kick in until page like 300 or something because I'm just waiting to get introduced to all the players. And then once I'm like, okay, here's what we're dealing with. Then I'm like, all right, what's happening? Who's doing what? So I always feel like in the early episodes of the season, you ask me questions and I'm like, there were people in it. They're doing stuff. So I apologize for that from a hosting standpoint. So I imagine that's not the best thing to deal with. But yeah, I don't know. I did like Clip talking about how he just like hates Namander, which is very funny to me because I kind of also hate Namander. You know,
you hate Namander?
I don't hate Namander. I just don't like feel much for him.
Well, let's move on a little bit. Josh Spinnock goes up and we get several talks, flashbacks about the Battle of Mott Wood. And a little bit about a Crimson Guard, a little bit about Dragon Life. Did any of this kind of lore backstory catch your eye?
I mean, all of it. I think Mottwood is like, you know, in the fiction of this universe is like such a pivotal like moment for the bridge burners, for the Andy, for everything that happens on Ganabacus. So I think it'd be really cool to see that. And I love anytime we get flashbacks. Like, did not know that the Andy were so involved in this and that. Who did he say was the magic user who hit Solana? Because they were fighting the Malazans, right? Or were they fighting the Motts? Because I was really confused by this, because in my head, I know that Caladan Brood and Animander Rake should have been together, and I know that Caladan Brood was on the side of the Motts, so I was like, I think they should have been fighting the Malazans, so I don't know. But I thought it almost sounded like a Mott caster had attacked Solana, so I was a little confused.
No, it's not a Mott caster.
So it wasn't.
Kind of reads like it.
That's what I thought, yeah.
They're talking about the Crimson Guard.
So a Crimson Guard person attacked Solanda, which again doesn't make any sense because they should have been on the same team unless that happened later. But I didn't think it did.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand what well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything about it.
You do understand exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, what it is, you know, I don't know. I don't really understand, but there is more Crimson Guard information I have, and we're just going to leave it there, you know.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah.
I do like the phrase, like using an axe to kill ants. I thought that was very good.
I also highlighted that phrase. Awesome phrase.
Yeah, you're right. The kind of only fool to seeing the deadliest wizard among the Crimson Guard, whose name was, I think, Cowl. Yeah, so that's the first time we've heard of this person, I'm pretty sure. Book fucking 8, we heard about this most deadly wizard and one of the deadliest fighting forces on this fucking continent.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else we want to talk about from this chapter?
If you think of rising against the Tisty Andy and you're a human, you're a fucking idiot. Period.
I want to, quick note. They're headed out to a little barrow at the end, going out to
the barrow where the bridge burners are, I assume, and Whiskey Jack.
Bridge burners were buried in Moonspawn.
Oh yeah, I guess. Oh, who is in the? Oh, is it the people? The people from the people who gave all their souls, all the Talani Mass.
All right, I'm gonna kick us to chapter 3.
Here, wait, really quick before we move on. I love the final section of this is just like 3 dudes talking about the Tistandi, and it starts with Lord of this, son of that. It's no matter.
Yeah,
I thought it was really, really funny talking about Animander Rake because like dude's got like 7 subtitles, and even in the Dramatis Personae, it has all of his subtitles.
Does it
in there.
Really?
Yeah,
guys, can I tell you, I have not read a Dramatis Personae since book like fucking 4 or 5.
I always like skim it.
I've given up. I'm gonna meet who I meet.
Fair enough.
Well, I just, and I never find them that useful.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
agreed.
Yeah, it's like, here's a bunch of shit.
It's just a huge long list of names, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's kick it.
Oh, he's got a new title in this one. It's Son of Darkness, Knight of Darkness, and Ruler of Black Coral. So, there you go.
Chapter 3. A Trickle Trade Guild carriage arrives in Darujistan with a handful of shareholders. Mallet tells Krupp that Morelio is mostly healed, but he's still worried about him. Krupp promises to find out who put out the contract on the Malazans. Mies wonders if it was the Malazan embassy, but Krupp dismisses it. Scorch and Leth wait at the docks, wondering if any of their debtors will try to escape. Gruntle has finished leading a long caravan back to the city. He commanded animated dead with caravans of Kellic back. He gets his payment after threatening the merchant. He goes home, dreading the acolytes of trade awaiting him, and sees the Trigal Trade Guild and reconsiders how crazy they are. Torvald Dom is cornered by Scorch and Leth. He says he can pay them in a day, and then he'll help them. He heads for his home. Underground is Humble Measure, an iron trader. He recalls his past at One-Eyed Cat and how the city and his family were ravaged by the Malazan Empire. He has taken over his father's ironmongering business and receives word that his contract on the Malazans failed. He will have to do better. The Empire can't win. Sister Spite's ship lands in Darujistan. Cutter's excited to come home, but Spite says the city has changed and is at the edge of danger. Mappo plans to leave from here to find Ikaria. Scarlet, Pust, and Mogara bicker, and Barathol wants to return to anonymity. They all disembark into the city. Barathol tells Mappo they could go together, but Mappo refuses. He must go alone. Barathol thinks about different types of work he could do in the city, and they say goodbye. Pust and Mogara bicker. A mule changes sex, and Pust wants to visit the temple to Shadow in the city. Scalara is going to follow Barathol and see what she can do. She thinks spending time with Cutter has robbed her of some of her confidence. Inside the Azathoth, Raist awakens Relic Nam. He says Vorkan has escaped, and Ralik sets back into the city. Arrivals and new beginnings in Darujistan. All right, AJ, so we're back in the city of Blue Flame, and we're back amongst the caravans. Chapter opens, we see the Trigal Trago. We also see Trake's chosen boy, Gruntle.
Oh, I thought you said you took a break between Trake and I was like, wait, did we see Trake? What happened?
To be honest, I called him Trake. That's what I did. So we see
funny.
Gruntle.
We see Gruntle, Trake's chosen boy.
Uwu, our favorite cat boy. What was your feeling?
It was great. I'm always hyped to see the Trigal Trade Guild. I think they're like one of the most interesting things in this world. Just like, I don't know. It's just like merchants that use fucking warrants to travel. It's just like so great. I love it so much. So I was happy to see them as always. And then Gruntle being back is also great. I think he was like one of the biggest question marks for me coming out of Memories of Ice, because I was like, yeah, he's done the thing, but he doesn't want this power. What does he do now? And I guess the answer is he just becomes like a mercenary, basically, or like a sword for hire, which is what he was to begin with, right? Or no, he was a farmer or something.
No, he was a caravan guard, and he's still a caravan guard.
A caravan guard. Okay. So, okay. So he just goes back to his old job, but he is just like God's right hand. Very funny. So I was happy to see him, and glad he's back. And I I know he doesn't want it, but I want to see him and his friends turn into a big tiger again, because that was fucking sick.
It was. I forgot about the big tiger.
I kind of love that he's like, and all those fucking annoying trait worshippers are going to be at my house.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's kind of like he's like where Haborik ended up.
Yeah.
In terms of like, ugh, Fanir's giving me all these blessings. I don't want these. Ugh. But I am his best boy. And I feel like that's where Grundle is right now. So we'll see how that ends up for him, I guess.
So the next long time no see character we come to, Josh, is one Torvald Nam, caught by Scorchin' Left, a debtor. Time to pay up, baby.
I have wanted Torvald Nam to come back into my life for so long. I'm so happy he's here. He was such a bright, shining star in our first time with Karsa. I'm going to sneeze. Give me 2 seconds. All right, I beat it. So I just suck enough air that this sneeze stays in. So
sure.
I've wanted him for so long, and I love, like, so much of him in that book is him being like, if you only knew the half of it. And he just comes back, and that's essentially what we get, is just like, he's here. How? Yes. That's all you need to know. And I'm triple excited because, as we'll talk about in a moment, his good cousin's back. What's that? We got
the
two
Noms are in town, baby.
Right? Nomming it up.
Nom.
Yep. I'm so excited to have them back.
Forget about the Griswolds. You know, we're all about the Noms now. I don't know why the Griswolds were my first family.
I don't either. And it says a lot about you.
India, were you excited to see the Noms return?
I don't know how I can be excited about any of these people quote unquote coming back if I don't remember who they are in the first place. Who's this guy? Torvald?
Torvald Nam was the person that was captured along with Karsa for most of his trip in captivity, and they helped each other stay sane, and they escaped that weird place with the water together. And then he is the one who got Karsa out, or Karsa got him out of captivity or whatever, in that last city they were in together before Karsa met Leomin. And then they went their separate ways, and we were not sure if we'd ever see him again. And he's also Ralik Nam's cousin. Ralik Nam being the assassin who is friends with Murillo and all that gang, who goes in the Azath house with Vorkin at the end of book 1, and who we will see in like 30 pages.
You remember book 1?
Ralik, he really uses lots of poisons.
He's fun.
Yeah. We don't get enough fun in these books, so whenever we get someone who's fun, I latch.
I do like when Torvald's like, you see these scars, and it's like, we here are like, yeah, it's true. Yeah. He's trying to shake this debt, but like he is true about it. So AJ, deep underground, we're introduced to the person putting out these contracts. One Humble Measure.
Yeah, wild name on this fella.
Yeah, right.
You know, here's just 2 words, and we're gonna put them together. That's a name. That is a name.
Throw some capitals.
Yeah, throw some capitals. They're proper nouns now, baby. Wild. Yeah, I mean his whole story I thought was pretty interesting. I'm curious if he's just like put out a hit on like all Malazans, or if there's like, I mean, I guess I don't know. Part of me is just like, were these people even involved in this thing that like killed his family, or is it just like a blind revenge plot?
I don't think it's revenge. I think the dude is obscenely paranoid, and he is convinced that they would not just open a bar. It must be for some clandestine reason, and therefore they're looking for him. Who else could they be looking for? I must kill them now.
Oh, okay.
Josh, is it paranoia to be like, oh, the Malazans are here to sabotage and colonize us?
Well, is there any history of that, Peter?
Prove it.
Yeah.
My Malazan history book says.
Yeah.
In this
the
city
book I have, which is published by the Malazan Empire, says there are
published
friends.
by Empress Lysine.
They brought us out of Barbacy. All right, we were all just filthy, and now we're civilized.
No, I think that's what's. I don't know. It's just I think it's an interesting little backstory. It's interesting to learn about One-Eyed Cat and just kind of hear about his life. And I think I don't know. It's pretty easy to be like, yeah.
Everyone else is named Cole or Kruppa or Crocus, and his name's Humble Measure. There's no one else in this book whose name is like, hello, I'm Purple 7. Like
Josh, to counter that, a main character is named Bottle, which is just a word.
Right.
So
right. But they're over there. This dude's in this city. No one in this city is named
see.
shit like this. They all have cool names. Chalice to Arl.
I don't know. I got to say, I've never assumed his Christian name is Humble Measure. I have to assume it's some sort of moniker.
Oh, well, I mean, his name is One-Eyed Cat.
No, that's where he's from.
That's the city.
Oh, you're right. Oh, so Humble Measure is his name from the Rivi time. That makes more sense because I think they had some names. So yeah, that makes more sense.
So
I think they had some names.
Yeah.
they probably had names.
So now that you couch it as like he's trying to make sure that the Malazans don't like try to take over the world or whatever, I think that makes more sense. But I don't know if the answer is to just like hire a bunch of assassins. You know, like I don't know if this one.
Well, to murder these guys? Yeah, I don't know if that's the answer.
Yeah, I don't know if he's like me. I am the largest ironmonger. I can take care of this entire empire. I got it. I'll hire some assassins and we're good.
And
It
murder
seems-
these 4 bar owners.
It seems pretty misguided to me.
This doesn't seem like the right access for the energy. So India, we cut to Sister Spite's ship is rolling in, and it is just a cavalcade of new characters and of returning characters. Who were you most excited to see on the boat?
I was honestly so excited to see Iskaril Pust again.
What?
There was not
I was waiting for Solara.
Bustin' and Pustin.
Pust
over
or
there.
bust?
Pust
Wow.
or bust.
Pust or bust, baby.
AJ, who were you most excited to see? You can only be excited about one.
I was like hyped to be back on this ship because like this was the storyline from Bone Hunters that I was like, yes, I want to see what happens next because like I really like Mappo. I like Lady Spite just in like the kind of way that I like all of the unknowable like witches and magic users or whatever. Yeah. So like also Iskaril Pust and Megora. And I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since we've actually seen Cutter too. I mean, we saw them all at the same time, I guess, at the end of Bone Hunters. But I was really hyped about all of them. But I think I'm most interested in Cutter's story in this book because of the last time he was in Darujistan. Like he hasn't been in Darujistan in like years at this point, right? Or something. And he's gone through all this shit. He's got a new name now. He basically, thinks the Crocus part of him is dead. And so for him to come back into this town and be like, hey, what's up? My name's Cutter now. And I'm a sick assassin. I'm just really curious to see how that manifests amongst everybody, all the players here.
Yeah, I mean it's been a long time away from home for him.
Yeah, I am also curious about like what Mappo's up to because like, I mean, we know what happened to Akarium. I mean, we know he used one of his things and he disappeared, so maybe he just teleported somewhere. But like, I'm feeling bad for Mappo right now because if his goal is to still go and find Akarium, it's like, I got bad news for you, pal. He's gone.
Yep.
Josh, which of these newcomers you keen to read about?
I just like Barathol. He's fun.
I love when Barathol's like, I'm gonna be nobody now. I'm going back to that.
Yeah, that was pretty chill for like 20 years, and I liked it. So goodbye.
Yeah, so then everyone kind of goes off into the city. I did want to mention this one line. Scalara's there, and she's like, she's thinking about how spending time with Cutter has changed her, which is very interesting. I don't know. I guess we'll find out more. I just found it a little interesting. I just, of course, people change when you spend time together, and it's kind of an interesting confession from her in a sense.
I thought that was really sad, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's not not a positive thing.
No. Yeah.
And last, we did mention it, Ralik Nam up and moving.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
He's back. Raced woke him up.
Yeah, I love these scenes with Raced. Raced is like an all-time great character in these books.
Raced is an MPV.
So great to see Raced as always. And then
I did see MPV there.
You did. Okay. It was kind of I don't know, it was funny but also kind of sad where Raced was like, you're just gonna leave me alone now? And he's like, I've been asleep this whole time. He's like, yeah, but we were bros. We were just hanging out.
I loved hanging out with you.
I loved hanging out with you, dude.
All right. Well, listen, we started this book.
Yeah, wait, are we not going to talk about this whole ending section that is like unlike anything we've read in this whole series? Are we just not going to talk about that?
Okay, did you see this? So India's messages, I thought India was just looking at her phone for a while. She is fully DC'd. She lost all power. Well, look, we lost India, everybody. So we're going to wrap it up. Now we're just three white dudes talking on a call.
I want to just like at least touch on this
AJ,
final
you can
section.
put your stuff in the edit. It's fine. This has been...
Josh, I got to cut you off. I think I'm sad India left us at the end of this call, my dear friend. But AJ, I would like to hear what you got to say.
It's just, I really, honestly, not much. It's just like we, to my memory, have never had anything like this in these books. Like in this moment, it feels like we're being told a story. And that's also part of the reason why I think is this all just like Krupp telling this story, because to so like plainly call out like, hey, this is a story, like this is a book, this is a story.
It's beginnings time.
Yeah.
It's beginnings time. It was just wild. I don't know. It really like had me agog after reading it. So
Kind of crazy, right?
it's kind of crazy. Such a night.
Such a night.
So
Well,
that's all I got.
Guess we'll have to keep an eye towards it. Shame India isn't here. Interesting.
If I had to compare it to one thing, it's pretty Samuel Beckett-esque.
Oh my God, I didn't even think about Sammy V. AJ, what a great thing
Close
you've
the loop
noticed.
there. That's a professional podcaster over there, baby. Listen, Wolf Wolf Bark Bark. Let us know what you think of the show. We're 10 Very Big Books on Twitter, and send us an email.
Yeah.
Gmail.com, 10 Very Big Books. And when I say wolf, you say bark bark. Wolf.
Bark, bark.
Hey everybody, producer AJ here, and it's hot. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you'd like to give us your thoughts or feelings about this or any of our episodes, you can always email us 10verybigbooks@gmail.com, tweet us at 10verybigbooks, or you can head on over to our Discord, bit.ly/VBB Discord. That's capital V, capital B, capital B, capital D, Discord. That link will also be in the show notes. Thank you to all of our wonderful patrons over on Patreon. If you'd like to financially support the show, you can head on over to patreon.com/10verybigbooks. That link is also in the show notes. And as always, thank you so very much to Dan Gesrick for making our spectacular cover art. You can follow him on Twitter at @A_W_Dan_G for the hottest Apple TV Plus live sports graphic takes. And of course, the wonderful music in today's episode, including the remixed intro and outro track, is by the one, the only Amaranthan from his album Simulant Rain, which you can find along with his other music on bandcamp.com. Links to their pages will be in the show notes, and 10 Very Big Books will be back in 2 weeks on April 29th, talking about chapters 4, 5, and 6 of Toll the Hounds. Talk to you then, and thank you so much for listening.